Hockey Nation fans, welcome back to the Hockey Nation live show, late edition, 11 p.m. night, directly Coach Frenchy in the booth, and we have tonight again the co-host Michael Devellano, directly from the West Coast, California. How you doing, Michael?
Things are good.
How was your day?
Busy.
Yeah, last time I saw you was 12 hours ago.
I know, it goes fast.
During the time from the 12 hours ago, we have a big news in NHL. I think that's the reason we come back here tonight and it's talking about the big trade between Florida Panthers and also the Pittsburgh Penguins. We knew already that trade was on the old about the situation with the insurance, everything like that. We knew also that maybe a little bit more discussion between both teams to maybe figure out the right term or the right way. And finally, around 5 p.m. tonight, all the news was honestly officially by the NHL, and the trade was concluded. And if you want to announce the players involved, if you do that, that'd be great.
So I guess the final deal involves Hornqvist going from Pittsburgh to Florida.
Yep.
Going the other way is Mike Matheson, but also Colton Sevier.
That was the last piece of the puzzle, honestly. I think Pittsburgh asked a little bit more. I think that will be, give a chance to the Florida Panthers to maybe, give a little bit more salary cap, open up. But I want you to a little bit more. What do you think about the trade? And if you can compare both players, I can a little bit helping you after that, if you don't mind.
So, Hornqvist is noted for being really brave, and he lives in front of the net. He's he's very much like Thomas Holmstrom or Corey Perry, and that's his office, and that's where he scores goals from. He's getting up there. He's not young, and he'll be
33 years old.
Yeah, he'll be 36 at the end of his contract. He had two sub 20 goal seasons, but he looked like he was on pace for 20 this year. He's normally good for 25 or 30, but I wouldn't expect many more of those days for him. Sevier going the other way is like a fourth line centerman, occasional winger. He's a useful guy that gets like 10 to 15 points a year, but it's all the stuff he does away from the puck that you want him for. He's got good energy and he's a good checker and he wins faceoffs. Matheson, I knew Matheson as a really good skating defenseman. He's capable of getting 25, 30 points. Sounds like last year he had an off year and he kind of fell out of even the top six. So I think that Pittsburgh has had a history of reclamations. Phil Kessel, Justin Schultz, you kind of go down the list, Jack Johnson, and, they're anchored by a really strong core and a really strong culture. So I got to think that even though Matheson's contract is ridiculous, like on paper, just the length, he's got like 6 more years on it. It's 4.8. You would like it to be 4, but, Pittsburgh takes back a surprising amount of cap in this, but I think Sevier's done, right?
Well, he's only 31. I think he's going to be a 4-line over there. I think he's a great two-way center, more like a defensive side. His speed is really who he is really. Last season he scored 16 points, 6 goals, 10 assists, and 69 regular game. So he's not injury a lot compared like Patrick is really injury. He's a 4-round pick. 112 by the Dallas Star and 2007 NHL draft.
But he only has 1 more year left on his contract, right? So
Yep.
That contract is 1.2 and it expires. So they'll have $6 million on the books, and I think Hornqvist was like 5.2. So they actually take more into Pittsburgh, which is kind of surprising. But in a year that falls off.
Yeah, one expects Sevier is very good. He's on PK. He have an average of 2 minutes 30 seconds on the PK per ice time per game. So he's really maybe a PK one, sometimes PK two. So it's really what bring a little bit more depth on Pittsburgh side. If you go to a little bit to compare the players, let's move on with Patrick. Patrick is a 30 years old, has scored 32 points last year, 17 goals, 15 assists, and 52 regular game season. One of the problem I think it would be, a short term on paper, I think Florida win, but maybe a long term is going to be now. The problem with Patrick or this has always been his injury
He's
histories.
got a lot of miles on him. Like he's
You know what I
playing in
mean?
the worst place to
Yes.
play in front of the goalie,
Yeah.
and he
And
takes
you're
a
right.
lot of punishment.
You're right about his contract. He has 3 seasons left on his 5 years contract, 26.5 million. A contract of 5.3 million average. I think is a good sign up. I think it's not too much. He was, what is surprised me? He was selected by the Nashville Predator
Yeah,
and the seventh round,
yeah,
number
he was
two,
nobody.
230 of the 2005 NHL draft. On a career in NHL right now, he has 770 regular game, season game. You have 238 goals, 242 assists for a total of 480 points in with the Penguins and with the Predator, and he has 46 points on a playoff
Stanley
in
Cup.
90 games. So he's really a little bit more a playoff guy. He has almost like 1.5. He has 25 goals, 21 assists. So in that in 90 games in the playoff.
You look
Now,
at, and that's kind of his career, right? Like he's
yes,
got 30 goals, 21 goals, 27 goals, 22 goals, 25 goals, 22, 21, 29. He's kind of 18 and 17, but he was on pace for probably 20 this year. But he scores them the hard way. And I don't think anybody would ever look at that guy and go, I mean, he's going to be a great player. He's not a great skater or anything, but he's gutsy and he just scores around the net.
he does a lot of things when nobody likes to do. I'll be honest with
Yeah.
you. You know what I mean? He's in front of net what Florida don't have anybody. If you
Yeah.
look at about the line of Barkov with Huberdeau and Dadonov, the last 2 years, they score a lot of points return on that, but I think he's going to guy maybe add I think he has a possibility to do about 50 points with that kind of players around him. I
Could be.
think he can get those kind of points because he's the one to get there. Now,
Yeah.
Madison is going to, I mean, he has like you said, have a big contract over there. He was draft first round pick, 23 overall,
Yeah.
and a 2012 NHL. He has scored 99 points, 33 goals, 58 assists, and 300. He's at 299 regular season. And then have only 37 games in the playoff with only one assist. One thing about him, he's signed up for many years, but his contract is about
Ooh,
3.2.
Matheson is 4.8.
Yes.
That's a
So
lot.
so I think Madison as a defenseman number 3 or 4 is going to be good.
He's going to
Low
have to play better
contract.
to justify that. I mean,
Now he's only a little bit longer on that part over there. So I
but
think
I guess if you look at Pittsburgh's defense, he is the second highest paid D now. Like
yes.
and they got a weird D now. Like they've got like Dumoulin, who's pretty good. He's 4-1. They just signed Marcus Peterson, who's 4 million. They're giving Jack Johnson 3.2. They're a weird
Exactly.
defense.
Pittsburgh moved a lot for the last couple of weeks. He's always a tradition, not a tradition, but he's always been good. How I said that
He
they
gets like
trade a
cards
lot
like he
between
did in Pittsburgh.
Florida and they always trade a lot between both teams. They have that kind of tradition between both. You remember the trade last year, the year
Jared
before with
McCann
Nick
and Stephen.
Bustad. But since the end one them Pittsburgh got eliminated by Montreal Canadiens, they did a lot of change already. They trade already Bustad in Minnesota while again, September 12th for a conditioning pick in 2021 NHL draft. They are trade already with Toronto for the first round pick, number 15 in the 2020 NHL draft to get Kasperi Kapanen. And they know already Justin Schultz is not coming back.
He's
Pittsburgh on the market right now, trade bait to trade Matt Murray. Malkin and Crosby, they are confirmed. They're not going to be on they're not going to trade both of them. They're going to stick with them. I don't think so. There's some rumor talking about, is it Brian Rust? Is it Brian Rust or
Yeah,
Brian?
I would keep that guy. I don't
So
get
I
it.
don't think so. They will trade him. I don't think he's going to
No.
get there.
But it's tough.
Um,
Like they have a lot of big salaries. Like I'm trying to figure out how this adds up. Like they've got 9.5 for Malkin. Crosby's a deal at 8.7, but he signed that a long time ago. He's still got 5 years at
yes.
that. Oh, wow. Um,
So
Gensel's 6. Zucker's 5.5. I don't think you can pay Brandon Tanev 3.5. Did he get a lot of points last year?
not really.
No, he's never been a scorer. Like, and he's got 5 years at 3.5. Russ is a deal at 3.5 because he got like point a game, right?
I think Zucker is a great addition for them at the
Yeah, he can
deadline.
score. Like he's
Yes.
a typical. He's like a faster Chris Kunitz, I think.
I really
So we'll
believe
see
they're
what he's
going to
to get.
trade. What they're going to get trade Matt Murray. I think they have two things they're going to look. They want to get a great, solid top four defenseman,
They
right?
better, but they've got a
And
lot of
then they're
salary to
going to
fill.
get a really good top nine player forward. So I believe they're going to get that. Now, they don't have a lot of stuff to go on UFA. I don't think so
No,
they
they're
get
not
there.
going to do
The
that.
bad thing, we'll go talk about that in the next couple of days, but
So
I think
weird.
Pittsburgh struggle more on the prospect side where they don't have a lot of draft pick
They
compared
don't
to
care.
any. It's always been a team. It's always been a team at the deadline. They always be active, proactive team, not a team let it go. They always been looking for players. This year again they trade for Jason Zucker in Minnesota. So that's I think at the end of the day, a short term, I believe Florida win until Patrick cannot get hurt. But a little bit longer, it could be Madison. If Madison back where he's supposed to be, yeah, Mike
Uh-huh.
Madison 2 years ago have a great 2 years back to back great season. He struggled a
Yeah.
lot last season, honestly.
Well, that
If
might be another, Pittsburgh reclamation. I mean, Justin Schultz was thrown on the scrap heap by Edmonton, and they grabbed him, and he was really good for them, including during Stanley Cup. Um, Jack Johnson looked like he was done. He's played pretty well for them. Phil Kessel, like they took him on. So I don't know. I think they'll get a lot out of him. They have a winning culture. Like if you've ever watched those guys practice, they're serious, which is weird because Phil Kessel wasn't.
I really believe they have also a good coach. Mike Sullivan is a
I,
great coach.
I think he's a really good coach.
He's a really good coach. I agree with you. Yeah, he's always been for his peer. He's really, good about that one. There, one thing was like surprised me by the Atlantic Jays Granger. Um, Fleury want to finish and stay in Vegas.
Wait,
Um,
this guy, like, so this may sound weird, but he's a very nice person.
yeah.
When he was with Team Canada as a kid, like he drove me up the wall. Like he blew, like, those days the US came back. He was always very soft. And he blew stuff for Pittsburgh. Like there's a long time where they didn't know if they could rely on him and they moved on him. For someone to say, "Oh, we get along, we should stay together. I'll stay 7 million, and I hope I get my starts." That sounds ridiculous to me. Like, does this guy got no hunger?
But again, I think Vegas have a big decision to do. I don't know why they could cut Leonard. I think Leonard is going to get $6 million per year.
Sure, but
You know,
why would you want Flurry when he's saying, "Oh, I'll take my 7 million and be a backup. We get along well." When you're trying to create a goalie competition, or you want a guy that's making 7 million to have a fire and want to win everything.
so what's happening? I just opened the door about that. Another news from Columbus Blue Jacket. The forward Alexandre Tessier,
Oh,
has
actually, I like him.
yeah temporarily left his loan with
You go to
Calpa.
France?
Calpa, he left for return in France. So he have a lot of serious illness and inside his family. So he left today and come back home,
Hmm.
and something happened. I want to, we're going to add another 15 minutes if you don't mind. I want to start talking about team by team with their salary, their prospect, what happening with And the last one, the first one we'll talk about, and I want you to add more information. I love the fact we love to have more information. We start with the Washington Capitals, and we can go through there. Their cap space is $9 million, 8.9. Their contract is 35.15, reserve 46.90. The restriction FA. And one players, just jump on it if you don't mind. They are Travis Boyd, Shane Kershish, Connor Hobbs, Lucas Johansson, and Jonah Singendaler. So they don't have a lot like the bad like
Yeah, Singenthaler's pretty good player. Like I like Singenthaler. I don't really think I'm too worried about losing the other guys, and Singenthaler shouldn't be
yeah.
expensive.
Again, they are all RFA, so I don't think so they're going to lose at the end. They maybe, now the
Well,
UFA, they have a lot of players there, and then just let me
uh,
know what you think you're going to keep, whatever it is. The first one is Ilya Kovalchuk. Um, he's a UFA for them. They have Liam O'Brien, where I don't,
oh,
then you have,
Liam O'Brien, he's all right.
yeah, then you have Brendan Dillon.
Well, I think they would like to keep Brendan Dillon.
I agree with you.
I think he's a big guy. He's pretty mobile, ex-Western Hockey League player. He's like 6'3", 6'4". He skates pretty well for a big guy. He's kind of like a number 4 or 5. I
Yep.
think he'll get Joel Edmondson money. So if they can't, you know, if they can't pay him 3.2 for 4 years, I would see he's very comparable to Edmondson.
Then the next one is Radko Kudas.
Gudis is the next Everett Silvertip.
Yep. And then you
He
have
played with us.
Tyler Lewington, Colby Willie.
I don't know what's going to happen with Gudis. Like he was in Toronto, ex St. Louis Blue,
He went
played
to
in Philadelphia.
yeah.
Oh no,
So
sorry, I'm thinking of someone else. Tampa Bay and then Philadelphia, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
he
I'm thinking of the other guy. What's his name?
he got trade. Isn't the trade they make
I'm thinking
with?
Roman Polak
Did he trade him for Niskanen?
from Philadelphia. Yeah,
I think
he
so.
Radko is kind of a number 6, but he's a really reliable number 6. He's tough as
Yep.
nails. He's
Yep.
getting up there. Like he's not young. Um,
2 million, 2.5, 3 years
yeah,
maybe. He's a whole guy too, right? He's
he's
going to be
30.
30, 30. So I think at 3 years, 2.5.
Right shot. He's not like a elegant player, but
I
and
would
he
focus
plays
more
bigger
on
than 80.
Dylan. I would focus more on Dylan before Kudas.
I would too, but I don't know if that'll happen. I kind of think that someone would grab him and give him a little more money, but we'll see.
Then you have Colby William, and then the big one is honestly Brandon Olby,
They're gonna let
where
him go.
the rumor is not going to return
He's
with
done.
Washington, honestly, and
Where do they pay him?
they have already good players over there. Now they resign Nicholas Backstrom,
Oh,
um,
really?
5 years for 9.2 per year. They have Brent Pinho, a 2-way contract, 725. Daniel Sprong, we mentioned him like 2, 3 days
That would be
ago.
interesting.
Um, so Sprong is a 2 years, 725. And then this signed a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago, players, you go to, Zachary Foucal, go 1 year for 700.
Like the great French hope.
Yeah, it's a one where he honestly he never been the
The
player was
most
supposed.
overrated prospect.
He has a great junior career. Honestly, he was a 18, I believe, is a first round pick. The
Yeah.
18 at some point.
He had so much hype, Pierre. Like people were saying he was the next Carey Price, and his numbers never justified that. And he didn't play
Exactly.
that well for Canada. Like he was terrible for Canada, I thought.
And finally, they signed the ELC Damien Riat, a Swiss player for a 2-way contract, 817. Now they have already 5 players all out of the loan. They are like please somewhere else. Axel Johnson, Falby, Alexi Prodas, Damien Riat. We just mentioned him. He's right now in Geneva playing the LHC. Alexander Alisieks. He is playing right now QHL, and then Domias Gezer. He's
Oh,
on.
really? See, that's I think their best prospect right now is Alexiev. He played for Red Deer, I think, right?
Yep.
He's a big Russian kid. He's he reminds me of who? He reminds me of Zadorov. he's probably better, a little bit better offensively and less. He's not as thick, but he's a big guy with a big shot, and
You
he
think
could be.
about, you think about Pittsburgh's struggle on the picks. Washington is another one where they have not many. On the NHL entry draft 2020,
Oh, they're always finishing
they
behind.
have 20, 80, 118, 149, and 180. So they have only 5 picks this upcoming NHL draft.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, let's be realistic. Like they are about winning now at all costs, and they'll trade that stuff away. Like they're not going to have Ovechkin forever. He's 35. Backstrom's 32. TJ Oshie's 33. Like they're getting up there.
yep.
So they'll throw everything but the kitchen sink to try and win it now, except for effort. Like they'll still party like they're in Las Vegas all the time,
Yep.
which is
So
bizarre. But
So they have like two prospects very high. Last season, Elia Samsonov is a goaltender.
so great.
He was injury, did not went to the bubble. And then we just mentioned him as a RFA, and I think he's going to have a good future for the team. Honas Zieken Thaler.
Oh, Jonas Siegenthaler. Yeah, yeah. I
Yep.
like him.
Yep. Now I want to go on the 5 players. They are on the top 5 prospect for them, and I'm sure you know them, so you can maybe have to talk about a little bit more. The first one they have is a Connor McMichael, is
Yep.
a
Connor
center for
McMichael is really
London
good.
OHL.
Yep. He's kind of like a late first round pick, I believe.
So it's a
He's
January 15, 2001.
Oh, his birth date is, yeah.
Yep.
So he's a Markham Laxer guy, and I think he played in Ajax. And then in the OHL, he took a little while because I think he went young. Like he was a pretty darn good player. He was drafted pretty high in the OHL draft. He was an absolute star the last 2 years for the London Knights. He was top five, I think, in scoring in the OHL. He played for Canada at the World Juniors, and he was like really, really good. Like I think he had goals in almost every game he played. He's a pretty damn good prospect. Now he's not that big. He's kind of like I think he's like 5'11", just under 6 foot. He's
He's
reasonably fast.
exactly. You're absolutely right. He's 6 foot, 180. Um, his
I don't even.
physical game is average and not big, and
Yeah,
also his skating.
his skating is okay, right? He's
Yeah,
smart. He's smart. He's a
great
smart player.
shot. He's have a
He's got a very
great
good. He's got an
shot.
excellent shot. So
Yep,
I think he'll probably have to keep working on the skating because
yep.
he's definitely not a shoe in at the NHL, but he's got potential. He could be a real good player.
Number two, Martin. Now I'm going to maybe screw his name again. Fiher Vary, a defenseman for Hershey AHL right now. He's a 99, 6'2", and 194. I don't know if you know about him.
Let me double check here. Um,
So Ferrovari is honestly not great on the physical of his game. Hockey sense is a little bit above, and also his skating is a little bit above. But his puck skill and the physical game is not really what is really get. Now he's only 99. Defenseman take a little bit longer. Have a
oh,
good year last year
okay.
in EHL.
Slovakian kid. I
Yep.
don't know him at all.
Okay. Number three, Alexei Protas. He's a center playing U League on the WHL with Prince Albert. He's a big guy, really big guy, 6'6", 210 pounds, 2001. His biggest problem is his skating, but he remind me a little bit Michael McCarron, honestly. Um,
That's not good, man.
no, but when you are that, no, but not my point is like when you are tall like this, it's not easy to find a combination of a great skater when you're 6'5", 6'6", 6'7". You know what I
It's
mean?
not, but
It's not.
McCarron was like, so we've our director of player personnel is ex Montreal Canadiens, and so we've had many conversations about Jacob De La Rose, Michael McCarron, and how those picks didn't turn out, and everyone's criticizing him for these small skating players. So it's not a if that's the way he skates, then he's in trouble.
He's a 25 pick, McCarron. But and then finally we have Alexander We have Alexander Alexiev Ziev.
I like
We
him.
just talked about him earlier. He's now a loan in a KHL. He's a defenseman. He played for AHL, like American Hockey League last season. Um, he's a legit NHL players. He's a 99, 6'4", and 200 pounds. Again, that's another one that's a little bit struggled about skating, puck skill, but more physical. Have a
He
little
can
bit
shoot the
more
puck.
hockey sense.
He can really shoot the puck.
Now we go to
And he's got
finalize.
good offensive instincts too.
Yeah, we'll go to finalize with four players NHL potential. I'm pretty sure you know some of them. The first one, Brett Leeson. He's a right wing for Hershey AHL. He's a tough rookie pro season. Honestly, you have a little bit difficult time. Then you have Damien Riat. We just talked about him. He's right now playing the NLA. And finally, Mitchell Gibson. He's ECAC college. Is a goaltender over there. But again, I think Washington now have a great prospect. Um, they don't have a lot in their.
They got two or three guys that are pretty good. Like Alexiev could be a top. He could be number 5, number 4, right, on a pretty good team.
Yes,
Um, Connor McMichael could really surprise, or he could just be a bust. Like it just depends.
I agree with
I
you.
think he'll play, but I don't know what role.
So we'll see. We just mentioned we're going to go team by team, day after day. Again, we're going from there. It was a late edition tonight. So with the big news today is all about Pittsburgh trade Patrick Ornsvik to
Got a game tomorrow.
Florida Panthers, and then tomorrow, and then against Mike Madison and the Colton Savior, and then tomorrow game number 4 between Tampa and Dallas. Of course, tomorrow we're going to go back. The only friend, Michael, tomorrow I have to be at 10 a.m. Eastern time or
Yeah, I
10:30.
think I do too because I think I have an 8 o'clock.
Yeah,
So
tomorrow I'm at a clinic all day with a NHL coaching.
cool. Yeah,
So
that should work out for me.
Sound good. So 10 a.m. we're going to go back, and again we try to go back and forth now morning and the night when we can. And tomorrow night definitely back after the game, the post game between Dallas and Tampa. So thanks all of you Hockey Nation fan to be with us tonight. And Mike, thanks again to join
Thank
us
you.
again. And I will wish you a great night, everybody, and look forward to see you tomorrow morning again. 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time. Look forward to seeing each one of you. So have a great night, everybody. Thank you.